What's up, y'all? We got a Griefcore overnight oats thoughts. Just gonna say this right out. I completely screwed up this batch. I don't even know what I did wrong. Maybe it was the normal milk, or it wasn't sweet enough, and I didn't even try and save them. I just ended up doing like energy bars for breakfast the week that I made this. But I'm not 100% on my game. That's all right. I come to you with 14 minutes left in the 6 month anniversary of Riley Faye Plus's death. And um, yeah, let's just say the grief course haven't been coming out as much, but the thoughts of grief are still there, folks. Don't worry. Don't you worry none. Those haven't gone anywhere. Frankly, I've been maybe feeling like I've still been keeping up Slob Course and doing the videos, but I've kept them pretty contained in the nice little structure that I've built, which I do love having. And just like the premise is I'm going to watch a video of me cooking fast for a minute and talk about whatever. And a lot of times that's just kind of me reacting to the food, and I like that. I do love when I can just go off and onto my little ramblings and whatever random thing I'm thinking of and just feeling comfortable and just sharing feels great. In my mind, I've kind of likened slobcore and just this process of using my first take and just kind of pulling the ripcord and just letting it go wherever. That is something that I fluctuate in comfortability with, honestly. And like lately, I've been really I've had so many thoughts of like the first thought of some sort of thing that I want to express, which usually those become videos. But probably the last 3 months, maybe, I just like, there's lots of reasons for me to tell myself, no, I don't feel like doing that. I don't want to share that. Or just like, I don't know if I'm pulling this across, and just like putting a lot of like internal pressure on myself, which is interesting. And I think it maybe has to do with this point of grief where like I've been thinking about Riley every single day, all the time, like for 6 months now. And the constant like pull and pang and hardness of hardness difficulty of the grief is like, it's not surprising how heavy it is, but like actually living through it, it's like, oh yeah, this still, like, I feel sick still just from the grief. And there's been lots of different stages in it, and kind of just letting my mind be wherever it's at. But it is interesting though, because even though it feels like we're still on that day 6 months ago, and there's still like this feeling of shock and numbness still, um, I definitely am in a different place. And one of the reasons I figured this out is was watching Twisted Metal, the show on Peacock. It's a great show. It has Mike Mitchell, who's one of my favorite podcast hosts, in it. And so I was watching that, and I remembered, like, I was watching that first episode, which I'd seen maybe the first 3 or 4 before, and there were so many things that I didn't recognize. And then I was like, when did I watch this? And I remembered that it was literally like 4 days after Riley had died. My friends Evan and Lennon, like, we had made the plans to watch this show on the night it came out, and we kept those, and it was good. And I'm really glad, like, it was really good to see them and just be with them. And I just was constantly talking about Riley, and just like in this really wild headspace. But this most recent watch through of Twisted Metal 6 months later, I was laughing my ass off because I remember, because how much I couldn't remember of the show because I just was so distracted and in so much pain. And then also, the show is kind of like hyper violent, and I remember just being so affected by like the violence and the death. And then spoiler alert for that first episode, but it kind of ends with like one of the protagonists' brother kills himself in order to save her life. And I was just watching this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, it's like hilarious now, 6 months later, at how truly like triggering that show was to watch. And it wasn't like I chose to watch it, and it was honestly fine. I wasn't like freaking out. But in hindsight, like remembering that event, I'm like, wow, my mind was just in such this immediate place of pain and just like, oh my God, like death and all of that. And it really hit me then 6 months ago. And then it really tickled me a couple, like last week when this happened, and I was watching it and enjoying it. Because just like, I was kind of laughing at just how absurd the whole situation is. But also just at like, it was almost a happy laugh too of like, oh my gosh, like I am in a different place. Like there has been growth along this grief journey, and it still feels awful like constantly, but there's been so much good too. And also like at the end of the day, Riley wouldn't want any of us to be suffering on account of their death. Like they definitely understand why we are. But I've just been feeling more of like energy and inspiration to not like move away from Riley and move away from grief. But a lot of my grief has just been like very negative and a lot of pain and suffering and processing. And, I think I want to better honor Riley by, moving forward and feeling those feelings when they come up, but really trying to embody their pursuit of joy and connection and love, and just knowing that like how much they cared for everyone around them and everyone that they loved, and trying to embody that for myself, because like they're not here anymore, they're not suffering anymore, and I'm always going to think of them. But it doesn't, like, I think at times I've been kind of very self-critical and harsh in my processing. And I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to be nicer. That's the goal, at least. Who knows? Yeah, so those are my thoughts. I got them out last minute. Here's a cute little clip. I've kind of been looking through some of the raw footage I have. This is some really fun family hike. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. That was our mama's voice on our voicemail at home growing up. Okay, see ya.
You recognize these ones, Finley? Thimbleberries. Oh, yes! Finley, come.
Berries.
Come see.
If they're
It's a
right.
thimbleberry. It is. It's absolutely right. They're crunchy. They're not very sweet.
Want to try?
So it's good for you. It's fiber. What do you think? What do you think?
Yummy?
Moss, let's see if we can find some more. Good eyes.
Sure.
Back there.
Utu.
Watch for nettles.
Watch for nettles, yep.
They're yummy, huh?
Really yummy.
Really yummy.
Nice.
That one.
No, those ones are a little unripe.
Happy. They're ripe.
The rest of them aren't.
Wait.
Ripe.
I'm the leader.
You're the leader?
Abby has to blow them up in the bee.
Oh, do you want another one, Finley?
Oh yeah,
We should find another one.
good eye.
The other thing I like about thimbleberries is feel the leaves, how soft they are. They're almost soft and furry.
Yeah, it'd be a good butt wipe.
Good butt wipe. Yes, exactly right.